Hello and welcome back to Hoosier Hardware, and today I'm looking at just how much more expensive is it to build a mini ITX system, which of course is the smallest of the common form factors of desktop PCs, versus building just a regular tower and not really worrying about the size of the thing at all. So like most bits of technology, making a full-size desktop computer a miniature in the mini ITX form factor does cost a little bit more on a few different fronts, including the case, power supply, and motherboard being the big ones. So let's assume for just a minute that we are trying to build the most budget-friendly mini ITX system, as well as looking at the most budget-friendly regular system, not worrying about form factor at all, which in most cases is the micro ATX form factor. So over at Newegg right now, the cheapest mini ITX cases you can find are about $35, and this particular one includes free shipping, so we'll call it $35 even there. Whereas heading over to the micro ATX section, we can see that we have a PC case here that's $18 plus about $6 in shipping, so we're talking about $24 there. So we're saving at least $11 by going the route of the micro ATX form factor instead of the mini ITX form factor in just the case alone. Now, judging power supplies can be a little bit more difficult because there are so many and because so many of them can be complete garbage. So we're going to put the limit, or at least the bottom limit here, at 450 watts with an 80 plus bronze certification, which is really what in my own world I use as my bare minimum for new PC builds. So again, looking at the cheapest possible power supplies that we can find meeting this criteria over at Newegg, right now we have a Corsair CX 450 watt power supply running $40 plus $4 for shipping, so we'll call it $44. On the SFX side of things, we have a Silverstone, which Silverstone is a big player in the SFX and small form factor space anyways. They have a 300 watt one here, but of course that doesn't meet the minimum wattage requirement. So we have to cruise over to the 450 watt, $65 plus $7 in shipping for a grand total of $72. Now, for those of you keeping track, the power supply difference is $28, and already on the cases, we were looking at $11 at an absolute bare minimum, so we're already looking at a $39 difference heading into the final round, at least for this video's purposes, which is the motherboard cost differences. So on the motherboard side of things, we're not in quite as rough shape as we are on the power supply side of things for the mini ITX versus micro ATX system comparison. Now, for the sake of continuity, we are going to be sticking with this MSI Z370M motherboard because it is a micro ATX instead of these other two, which are cheaper, but they are ATX motherboards. Know, however, that if you do find a full-size ATX case cheaper than a micro ATX case or very similar to it, then this may be a slightly cheaper route. Regardless, our micro ATX Z370 board is going to run us $125 compared to $137 after shipping for this ASRock Mini ITX Z370 board. And if my math is correct, between the two builds being as cost effective as possible, that $12 added to the $39 should result in a $51 difference between a very cheap Mini ITX Z370 build and a very similarly spec'd, actually identically spec'd build using the micro ATX form factor. And if we move over to PC Part Picker and pick out just those three components, again with the mini ITX system, we see that we come in at $206.96, whereas with an ATX build this time, not micro ATX mind you, we have a $156 price point, putting us at just $50 difference between the two builds. So if size is a major issue for you and you're trying to keep your desktop footprint as small as possible, there are a couple other things besides just the price that you do want to consider. In addition to ventilation and keeping your components cool, you also have to consider that mini ITX systems typically have a tougher time coming up with storage solutions. For example, many ITX cases limit you to 2.5-inch drives, whether that be a hard drive or a solid state drive, whereas the full-sized ATX cases often give you a whole plethora of drive options, including several 3.5-inch drive bays. But if the $50 price premium you will likely pay by setting yourself up with a mini ITX system over a standard ATX or micro ATX system doesn't deter you, then by all means go for it. I love building mini ITX systems. My Node 202 build is possibly my favorite build I've ever done. It's just awesome how much power is packed into this PC with such a small footprint on the desk, and it is absolutely great. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of mini ITX systems in general. Do you own one? Do you want to build one? And if you are you gonna go AMD or Intel? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this content, give it a like, a share, subscribe, or a comment down below. All those things help out a lot. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware. As usual, they are the same tag for your convenience. And also, as usual, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.